Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. Today on the Daily Review, we discuss a movie from 1980 by John Irvin called, that's right, The Dogs of War, with your host, me, Professor Joe LaRocca. This film stars Christopher Walken and Tom Berenger and a whole bunch of other people. Ed O'Neill's in it for a second. It's great. This is like an action spy political movie. It's like got some politics going on it, but it's also kind of an action adventure movie. In some ways, it reminds me a bit of Ronin, the John Frankenheimer movie, because of it's kind of patient, understated, slow boil. But this only really has one action sequence in the whole movie, really. One, the climactic one, but otherwise there's not too much action in between. The story is Christopher Walken plays a mercenary named Shannon Brown, who goes to Zangara, which is a fictitious West African country that has like a despot ruling, like an Idi Amin style despot named Kimba. And he goes there to do recon, and he gets caught. And he gets the shit beat out of him and tortured and deported back to the United States, where then the CIA comes to him and goes, hey, what do we got to do to make a coup happen again and install the guy we want? Because we've, and immediately Walken's like, would you find oil or diamonds there? And they're like, never you mind that. And they're like, yeah, they found platinum mines. So yes, it's on the nose in terms of U.S. political agenda stuff, and when we intercede in countries and for what reason. So, which is a much more intelligent subject matter and controversial subject matter than most action adventure movies, right? But then again, because it feels like a spy movie or like an action adventure movie, but it's also kind of a hangout movie like Ronin. Like there's a lot of scenes where they're just going through the minutia of what you would actually need to do to source all the equipment you would need to start a coup. So they're like, there's all this European gathering equipment stuff, and then actually infiltrating back into the country and getting some Zangaran rebels, essentially, to get a rebel army going. And it's pretty damn good. I was surprised. I always remember seeing this movie in the movie store, at the video rental place. And I remember that was the cover, essentially, on the VHS. And I always remember being like, holy crap, that looks amazing with that gun with all the things on it, which in them it's called the XM18. And you can put all different types of bullets in there. It's like you can put like smoke, tear gas, and shotgun bullets, and flares, and all sorts of stuff. It's versatile. It's what they call in the business a mixed fruit bowl. I think that's what the guy says in the movie. Walken is fantastic. He's the exact perfect actor for this type of movie, because especially those roles in the 70s and 80s are very, there's that look in his eye. They're very intelligently played. And the script and the plot and the really good dialogue benefits him. And he has such amazing eyes that in so much needs to be said without words in this movie, so that it's not all exposition, which is great. And he's able to do it. And Tom Berenger is kind of nobody else is really in it that much, but, everybody else just kind of, it seems like a side character to Christopher. What am I talking about? Anyway, it's great. I mean, the climax is nuts. They shoot everything up. I mean, maybe it's the last. Even though it came out in 1980, I think it's the last 70s action movie, because it's still got that 70s vibe of being a character movie and having a political agenda and some actual, like, a statement behind it. And the big flaw, the reason this movie isn't a classic, maybe it's like a cult classic or something, but one of the reasons that you maybe never even heard of this movie is the pacing's all fucked up for a regular movie. Like, nothing really happens until 35 minutes in, so they don't really get a hook in you, and then they don't hit you with the first plot point. They're like off by 10, 15 minutes in terms of what we're used to. And then the end of the movie is very action heavy, which is nice. They build to that nicely, but there's definitely pacing issues. I think a lot of people in the middle would go, get on with it, like, what the fuck? We got it. This is weird. This pacing is strange. Be more normal with it. Shoot more people. That's another problem when they storm the compound. They're kind of just shooting at nothing a lot of the time. There's very few people at the end of the bullets, it looks like. They're just kind of like blowing up the whole set, almost like that Universal Studios ride where they're just kind of, everything's on, you can be reset for the next show, I really enjoyed it, though. I'm surprised that I'd never watched it earlier, but in life. But I think if I had watched it as a kid, I definitely would have been like, this is boring. Why isn't, I liked Commando then, I was like, why isn't this is the smart man's Commando. That's what I'll say. All right. You guys can like and subscribe. If you like to subscribe, I'm here every day. You can be here as much as you want. We're going to be 1,000 consecutive days next Monday. So if I can make it till then. So a few more days and we're there. And, yeah, I'm going to start doing something different maybe. I don't know. What did I learn? What I learned is it is now a perfect example of a very intelligently made movie with great dialogue, great characters, great performance, well shot, well thought out, that is basically hampered massively by its pacing. I think a re-edit of this movie could make it way more palatable for more audiences. And I'm not saying trick editing, like show some of the ending first and then go, how did we get here? No, like even going in a chronological order like they did, I think you can get to your audience a little bit quicker. Because I was on board by the second half, but it did take a while for me to get on board, and I wanted to like it. So, all right, that's it. I guess grades, yeah, it's like a B. It's got some problems, but it's real good, and it is refreshing to see. Action movies aren't really dealt with like this, the last handful of Netflix kind of things, with the Hemsworths and the Evanses and all them, and Ryan Reynolds and stuff. They haven't been particularly smart. One or two of them I thought were enjoyable, like not Free Guy, the other one, the Alpha Man or something like that. What was that called? John doesn't like that movie. I thought that was all right. It was like basically like Star Wars. It was like a Star Wars ripoff with some other elements in it. All right, Dogs of War, Dogs of War, Dogs of War, Dogs of War.